Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello my friends, it is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a new custom. This is a commission for Dylan D, and we are going back to my roots with Scourge. Good old Scourge the Hedgehog, the original evil green Sonic clone, based off of the Ashura glitch from Sonic 2. Okay, so man, this takes me so far back. In fact, back to the very origins of me being a toy customizer. Because Scourge was actually the first character that I ever made a custom figure of. Isn't that amazing? We're going back that far. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember the Jazzwares toy line was relatively young. They'd only made a few characters so far. And I was kind of upset that none of them were villains. Like, this is before the Metal Sonic and Dr. Eggman 2-pack was released. So I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make my own villain, and it'll have Blackjack, and you know the gag. So yeah, I just took a Sonic figure, painted him green, made a little jacket for him out of t-shirt material, and I was hooked. Of course, my technique has evolved quite a bit since then. So we start with the Sonic the Hedgehog figure. Dylan somehow managed to find a fully intact one. Although, isn't it funny how the legs go? I was always thinking that sooner or later I'll be making one of these for the Jakks Pacific line, but I guess that's just not to be so far. Now the important thing is to swap out the feet with something that looks more like Scourge's boots, which would be Knuckles' shoes, which I happen to have in my spare figure parts. I cut off the little thing on the top of them so that they don't have those little Lego pegs anymore, and then sculpted on the detailing to look more like, Scourge's boots. You have no idea how hard it is to keep reminding myself to say Scourge and not Surge. Like it is so hard. It's pressing on my very sanity. And I came up with the idea to actually start sculpting on the figure before I dismantled it this time. So to make sure that his little sleeves would be exactly the right length where they reached his gloves without going over them. That is something that, doing it before dismantling really helped. So, I could make sure that his wrist swivels would still work and that nothing would press into itself too hard. Of course, I would have to dismantle the figure anyway to do, the painting. And I'm not sure if you noticed in the previous picture, but I actually did sculpt the scars on, so they're not just painted onto his chest, they actually have some relief on there. If anyone's wondering why he has those scars on his chest, it's because he got punched. Locke was trying to punch him, and he dodged back at the last second, but the claws on Locke's glove scratched two deep cuts into his chest, which upon making contact with the Master Emerald to mutate into his green form, caused him to instantly heal, but as scars. So yeah, it's supposed to be a reference to the Roman numeral 2, like he's like the second Sonic. It's a good thing the Archieverse didn't work like the Sonic Boom universe, where having two characters of the same person, having two of the same person in one universe would cause the entire thing to tear itself apart. Although that probably would have been something that Scourge would have loved to do, like just walk into a universe and just by his very presence with another Sonic destroy it. He always was kind of the ultimate anarchist that way, wasn't he? And of course, I did remember to paint his eyes blue because Scourge, when he greenified himself, he turned his green eyes blue. Despite the fact that he shouldn't have green eyes, because it was actually kind of a thing that Sonic's green eyes in the Archie comic were the result of exposure to the Super Emerald and fixing the timeline and slightly altering himself. But I digress. Okay, so do you guys Are you familiar with that internet video where there's this guy who's like, I need something to prop this up. If only I had a plank of wood that was about 7 inches or so long. And then you see his dad, his eyes light up, and he goes running into the garage, and he digs into this pile, and he finds this little piece of wood that he's been keeping in his garage for like the past 20 years, just in case, and he pulls it out, da 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 da, it's like the ultimate treasure, like, yes, my obsessive compulsive hoarding finally pays off! Yeah, that's how I felt with these shades, because I'm like, what am I going to make his shades out of? If only this was a Freerider Sonic, they would have shades. And that's when I remembered that every time I dismantled Jazzwares figures, I would sometimes save pieces of them just in case I needed to use them later. And I dismantled Wave more than several times, because she was the only female buck for quite a while. So I had, I didn't even have her head. I had her bandana, which has these shades attached to it. So I was able to take the shades off, cut the pegs off of them to make them smooth, paint them up to look like shades, Scourge's shades, and then glue them to his head. So that is Scourge the Hedgehog. Man, it's been 7 whole years since I made a Scourge figure. Like, this is taking me so far back. But I feel like with all my improved techniques has gotten so much better. Oh, just in case you didn't realize, his little jacket is made out of electrical tape. Yes, time was I used to use craft foam or the rubber from those bicycle tire repair kits. But now I realize that a piece of electrical tape doubled over on itself actually works a lot better, because it's thinner, it's durable enough that you don't have to worry about tearing it, but since it's thinner, it doesn't restrict the movements of his arms in any way. So, yes, that is Scourge the Hedgehog, and let's end with a hilarious internet meme adaptation. Give yourself a cookie if you recognize it. But, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious given how popular that movie was. And yeah, thank you all for watching this video. Let's have Sonic take us out like he always does.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001. Because between you and me, they're way past cool.